My best quality is my unwavering allegiance to myself. I know who I am. If you don't or you can't figure it out,
Hello there. How is everybody? Hello, welcome in. Come on in. Um, so I've had a nice little break from my earlier stream where I lost my marbles. And just sort of reconnoitered. Considered kicking this down the road, but decided let's just do it. We'll do it live, right? Um, So, hi everybody. I do have Christina backstage. And the way that this is going to go, hi everybody. Salty, hey, come on in. Hello. Um, the way it's going to go, or what I'm going to try to do today, we're going to try to keep it about an hour and a half, hour and a half. See how that goes. But I want to go through the audio of the Patreon, but I wanted to bring Christina in to talk about her case because I think that the value to me for this, community or whatever you would like to call it, is showing the through line. And when I see a through line, it's a through line of pattern practice by Hidden True Crime by Trisha Griffith, and the Charchado of it all. But I do think that it's important, at least in my experience and sort of where I see this connecting, is past as prologue, which I changed the title. I do believe that there's a lot going on here behind the scenes as far as this Patreon. I do see a lot of, and again, just from my sort of cursory listening to it, what could potentially come for their next lawsuit, because I don't think that that is unreasonable to think that's coming. And that was sort of just reinforced today when I saw her and Jessica out front of what should be an incredibly serious and incredibly solemn trial. And so I think everybody was a little cheesed off that whatever. So I wanted to bring Christine on. But I wanted to also start quickly with Gamergate. I had made a mention earlier about Gamergate and establishing what actual cyberbullying is and what kind of watershed that was. And basically what it was is back in 2013, the entire internet, and it was menfolk, unfortunately, came for a group of women who were working in the gaming industry. And that was the first time I had really encountered that kind of mass attack, which was triangulated, which was all of the things that Lauren, Grayson, John, Trishy McFarter Pants, and everybody else down the line is trying to say that they're victims of. And I do know that Fig Fairy, who was in here before, remembers that time period. A lot of women in gaming remember that time period. So maybe it's Fig feels like taking a shot if anybody has questions. I just want to bring Christina on, but I want to backdrop it a little bit with what actually is what actually is a crime and what's not. So let me bring Christina on real quick, and then hello. It's funny. It occurs to me this is the first time we've actually spoken face to face.
I know, it's true. I guess we haven't done a FaceTime or anything. That's crazy. I
No,
feel like that's true.
We
That's
haven't.
true. Good point.
Yeah.
Face to face and face to face with your audience, since I called in that one time.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That's what I was like, girl, get a lawyer. And you're like, no, it's fine.
Nah, I know. I feel like I'm well versed in. I mean, at the end of the day, truth is the absolute defense, and I've got nothing but truth on my side. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what no lawyer says anyway.
Yeah.
Not that I haven't discussed with counsel or anything, but so we're good.
So you have counsel. We'll have to get back to that later, maybe.
Well, good old Dunkelberger is still my signed attorney. I love that. He's honestly top tier.
We're going to be reading from some of the gospel according to Dunkelberger later.
Let's do it. He nailed it. He really did. He nailed
He
it.
really did. And so what I want to do, I know that Jay and I think I know that Salty did some last night, and Penny have all listened to the Patreon. Yay, subtext, your stuff is in the chat, I think. I pulled up your docket. Also Lord's work.
And thank
over
you.
there.
Thank you, subtext. Thank you.
I mean, right?
Just having it all in one spot, my ADHD brain is terrible. I mean, one day I want the ADHD hyperfixation to be on organization like that, but it hasn't hit yet.
So what I would like to do, and what I sort of let Christina know that I would like to do, is go through some of the audio. I don't want to get exhaustive about it, but I do think that there are things, and I think I'm right in saying this. I don't know. Neither of us have heard it all the way through.
Again, the Patreon audio, that, right? Yeah. I think I probably caught most of it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do have some ideas about how this may not, and I'm not going to put this word, my words were past as prologue, right? So I see this as potentially rolling out for somebody else in the future. I don't know who, but that's a vibe I got. So
yeah. Good on them for not, naming who, because I mean, people forget, or maybe weren't aware that in her 9-hour live, she named me, I think, over 20 times. This is the estimation. I was not the one personally counting it, so take that with grains of salt. But I think what I remember hearing at the time is like over 20 times, like my first name. And I think a couple times my first and last name, but she did go and edit that out later.
Right. And she mentioned a lot of people. And so I think that's part of this too for me, didn't she?
Totally.
I think, yeah. And so
she labeled me my stalker or stalker, but did keep people like Janice and Lori and Lindsay's names as is, which, one can only speculate.
It's a whole thing. And I think that, from my perspective, and people who know me through this venue, I come at this from a journalistic perspective, and I'm kind of out of the game now, but still have, you never quite leave the game. But I cannot fathom doing something like that and then maintaining my persona as a journalist. And there's lots of breathtaking things.
Yeah, but I think that's why we're on this side of it. I'm just, because I wouldn't either,
Yeah.
Like, it's just so much easier to own your choices in life than to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And then to go forward, well, we'll get into it. So let's, let me start by playing some of the audio, and I'm not going to bring up anything. What I will do is bring up, I just lied to everybody. Apologies. I just lied.
No, hold on. I see Salty's comment really quick, and I really like this. So Salty says, I'm aware of the amount of manipulation I heard, but also can't unsee the crisis Grayson appeared to be in. Her and Lauren both sounded like they needed immediate therapy. John sucks. Now, I completely agree with this statement, Salty. Like, anyone can see or hear that they're hurting. And I'm absolutely, and I'm sure the same goes for Andy, but I can't speak for her, not going to pretend that's nothing. And I think also that played into the 9-hour live, but I want us to, and I know you do this anyway, Salty, I'm not saying you don't, just for the masses, to separate that someone can be in pain and me not be the cause of it. So that's what I think is fascinating, is because this episode obviously doesn't name who it's about. And both of my feelings here and all of ours can coexist. I don't wish these people harm in any way, shape, or form. However, I am never going to accept blame for something I did not do, especially something when it wasn't even specified as being about me or others, and who. So with that in mind, I recognize that we are essentially speculating at who it might be about. But at the same time, I do want to acknowledge that their feelings are real. It does not mean that that they have facts behind them.
Right.
And I feel like to some degree, they distract from the facts with their emotions. I wrote a whole post about that, but I just want to acknowledge what Salty said, because I do agree with that. Their distress does seem and feel real. At the same time, it can coexist with, I'm not the cause of that at all.
Of course. No.
Yeah. And neither are you, Andy, neither is Jolene, neither is Jay, neither are you guys in the chat, neither are you, Salty, neither are you, Dreadful Penny. Like, none of the commentators, not me, not my friends and other former friends of hers, we are not the cause of that.
Right. Of course not. And I think that no, this is what I want, because I do think that, you know, that this is important, because I do believe that this is an attempt, and I've said this before, and I think that based on the facts that are before my eyes and what I believe are the facts before everybody's eyes that chooses to listen and be open to what happened here and through the arc of their history, collectively and apart, that this was, you know, they weaponized the legal system. It's very, very clear. And I keep saying this, it's like, I love the judge. You know, we have to be careful about how we use the tools of the law. They were very clear. So I do have a very different impression and you give them more grace than I do, but that is only because I am really tuned into hearing with an ear that is being very, very critical of what they might be up to next from a legal perspective.
Yes, that's because you're a critical thinker. I feel like a lot of people that come to your chat and a lot of others who offer commentary on this situation. Again, I mentioned Salty because she's the one who said that comment, Salty included. It's the critical thinkers that see through the heavy emotion.
Yeah.
And honestly, to some degree, and I don't know if this is overstepping, but I feel like a lot of us in life have gone through experiences that led us to understand that more than anything, to be honest, to understand that emotions can distract from facts.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that means that other people have fallen into the emotion trap, wanting to validate someone and believing that what they were saying was real and then finding out it wasn't. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So I just know it means most people who can point that out have been through stuff in life.
Yeah.
To know, you know?
Well, and that's just it too. It's like, and that's why I brought up Gamergate, which, I think people really need to go and revisit that. At least for me, it was a real eye opener to how actual cyberbullying, actual cyber crimes that led to hearings on Capitol Hill in the United States Capitol about how this impacts and cyberbullying. So that's why I want to, and so that's the other part of my brain here too, is that I am actually a trauma-informed journalist. I do not have a journalism degree, but I was brought up by some amazing women that went before me in this space who taught me, and I went out of my way to be very conscientious about it. And so when I'm clued into that part of dealing with victims and seeing the way that the manipulation, what I perceive as manipulation of victims for fun and profit, I like to say, it's deeply disturbing. To me, it encourages other women or other whoever from not coming forward. And I do believe that there should be accountability. I'm not here to make the decision of what that is, but you were the
one who shared with me, and I know you said you had mentioned it earlier about the doxing that came with Gamergate, that I wasn't aware of. I need to obviously deep dive that, but also something I thought of too that some might remember, some might not, is during the 9-hour live, Janice and specifically there was someone in the chat naming where Janice lives, where she's from, like if I remember correctly, like what her husband does. There were people saying, I mean, I had people showing up at my house that night. So whether it was said in chat, I can't remember, or if they just Googled my name. I mean,
Right.
at the time, all my information was just like, you never think you have to remove your information from like whitepages.com until it's too late, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
I mean, that is real. That is real. But it also, you're right. The people who claim victimhood, and I'm not claiming that by any means, but the people who claim victimhood wrongly, or the people who falsely accuse others, do make it hard for those of us to actually come to terms too with what happened to us, because you almost don't want to. They make it seem like that word is so powerless, and I don't feel powerless, and I don't mean that in a threatening way. You know how my words will be. I don't feel like they have taken away, like I'm still the happy person I am. You
Right.
know, like they can't take that from me, and they can't make me. I accept responsibility for my feelings and emotions around this situation, and I don't give them that power. But I feel like I'm unable sometimes to express how it might have impacted me because of the way they chose to manipulate that type of thing, if that makes sense.
it does. And I guess that takes me in a direction that would pose a hypothetical to you, and you're going to get interviewed just like I would interview anybody else, would pose a hypothetical.
No, I love it.
And you're free to answer or not. But I guess the question I would ask is, how do you believe you would react if what happened to you in a court of law, right? Or on a 9-hour live, if this happened to you, your friend, or a family member, how do you think that would appear? And I know it's hard to get outside of that, but I don't know if you've thought about that at all, or if that's even something that you can contemplate at this point.
Okay, so let me see if I'm understanding your question correctly. If I was, let's say, my sister, for example,
Sure.
how would I view the situation I'm in if I was my sister or my husband or friends I've had for years? Is that kind of your question?
Yeah. And throughout the course of all of the different things. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, so as you can tell,
And you don't have to answer.
No,
I've told
I have an
Christina,
answer for this one. I'm aware.
I've told Christina, but I just need to make this clear. Like, I only do quick pre-interviews, meaning that I say, can I use your full name in the title? and I'm going to play this audio. Is that, whatever. But I don't tell her what I'm going to tell her. So go ahead.
Okay. So I feel like this part of me, I kind of posted a TikTok about it at like the beginning of my TikTok about just my personality in a sense. I used the Toby Keith song "Beer for My Horses," where it was like, now justice is the one thing you can always find. You got to settle up your boys. You got to draw a fine line. And then I also did one about, it was short and sweet, but about the random friends you meet on Tuesday or whatever. That's all to say, because I am very defensive when it comes to my friends and my family. So if I'm putting myself in my family or friends position, but you can't, it's hard to step out of who I am. I would do exactly what I'm doing right now, to be honest. Like, I would be just as vocal. I mean, in the way I could. Obviously, it's crazy because it's taken me a while to speak out with my face and voice other than in short form content. But that's mostly because of the limits and the constraints these people put on me, in a sense, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I very much am very protective of my people. So I think that's who you even see now in the position I'm in. I'm actually I really don't care what they did to me at all. I care what they did to my people.
Right.
I care what they did to my friends. I care what they did to their former friends who have now become my friends. I care what they did to the listeners, the viewers, how they've manipulated them to feel the things they feel. I care about you. I care about you, how this has impacted you. And
what? No.
I mean, just like, I mean, out of any story, I mean, like you care about this one. And I would love to say it's all about me because I'm amazing. No, I know it's because justice is very important to you. And it's like rabbit holes. I just care about people. And again, I know it sounds weird that it's like, okay, whatever, she did that to me. But it's like, I've said this in your chat before, that reflects more on her than it does on me. Like none of that reflects anything on me.
Right. And I believe that too.
It's like, dude, whatever, girl, if you felt, wow, that was a lot, girlfriend, but like that reflects nothing on me.
Of course not. And I think that honestly, and the reason I say of course not with such confidence is because I've listened to the audio of the trial and I've read the documents. And I don't think people have a lot of patience to do that, unfortunately, which is what I also believe a journalist and a clinical forensic psychologist.
But it's actually shocked me how many people have, though. Think about it. Look at your chat right now, which I'm trying to get better at looking at. Look at your chat right now. Look at the people that show up regularly to see this through.
Oh, yes.
That's also been a sense of like, oh my gosh, this is like, and you coming, like actually caring to like figure out if these things are fact. Like it
makes me nuts.
That is cool to see as well. Like you're right in the sense of like, yeah. Some people really don't care, but it's been cool to see people actually care too.
Yes. And I think, yes. Let's listen to a little bit, okay, to kind of get started. So let me know when y'all can hear this. This is from the, and I'm just going to say this up front too about the Patreon. I do believe that this was planted. When I say that, I mean that they wanted to see who would pick this up and run with it. And my answer quite simply to them is that fucking everybody, you dingbats. So anyway, if it was some sort of test, I made it 22 minutes without saying the Effenheimer. But which I'm trying to get
no shame, please. We don't do that. I know this is your channel and I'm saying we don't do that here. It's because I know we don't do that here.
Right. So, but when we're doing this kind of stuff, I try not to. But of course they were. So this to me was a setup. It was to see who would take the bait. Lady, you lay out some bait, everybody's going to take it. What I do hope though is that more people listen to it critically and compare it to the paper trail, if you will. And for me, that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's the paper trail. So when I heard a little bit on Penny's chat, and when I barely caught any of Jay's because it was like middle of the night and I sleep. Oh my God, you people! Is that I'm like, yeah. So I haven't really listened, but I was just like, this sounds like they're just setting a trap, and it's like, welcome trap.
I bet you they didn't expect me though. I bet you they didn't expect me.
Right. Well, of course they did. I mean, here, I don't think any.
I haven't spoken out until now. Let's be honest. Like, they didn't expect me to come in and talk
sure.
About, they
didn't expect this. But that's part of it. And that's part of why I lost my mind today with the Machado of it all, which we're not going to get into because that trial deserves a lot more grace and a lot more reverence than I gave it today because I was pissed. But
hey, I'm here for it.
Anyway, it was crazy. So let's listen to a little bit of it. So yes, I just wanted to set it up that I believe that this Patreon was like a little bit of breadcrumbs, and it's like y'all are getting real obvious. I really do. So I'm just going to play a little bit of it, and then I'm going to pull out some parts that I thought were interesting. And then I know Christina had some parts where she felt like it started to feel maybe like there was some, it smelled a little bit like what they did to her. So let me know if you can hear it when it starts.
Again,
we have so much to say. It's going to be mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Stay with us.
Can you hear it?
That wasn't even like a tease either, by the way. Like, no, we have a lot to say and we can't wait till we can finally say it. But
can you hear it?
Yes, I can hear it. But It's crazy. Like, so 9 hours plus 4 hours plus the subsequent duty run, web sleuth. Can we total how many hours that I actually spent on her when it comes to my content versus how much of theirs went to me and my friends.
Yeah. And
so like you guys aren't done yet lying? Like what are you saying here?
They're just moving on, right? So I think, in my opinion, that they are moving on to somebody else, and it may be Mr. Bright Breakfast. I doubt it, because the thing is that there's nothing criminal. There's nothing. I mean, they can. Right. So
I say that, but then I say that, and then I read the documents that they filed against me, and it's like, oh, they make up stuff.
Right.
It doesn't matter if there is something or not. They make it up.
They do. From what? Oh boy.
And I don't say allegedly. I can with my full chest say they make it up.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is why I spent some time going through the trial pretty, every day for a while, because, or not the trial, the hearing, because I'm like, if you really get down to the brass tacks here, we have people like Trisha, which I still am dying to know where that, that, what is it? Deposition is from her that was cited. Right. So, but I do think that they were hoping, and unfortunately this happens when, and this is why I get pissed, misusing the law, misusing their position. Her as a journalist, you're not a journalist, ma'am. You're a bitch. Sorry. I'm sorry. Not sorry. But, and a psychologist to leverage the law, knowing that people don't have money. Right. And I also want to ask you too, but let's listen to a little bit of it. And then I want to ask you about some of the things that were going on, because we're going to look at some of the filings, and I want to kind of get some, input from you on what that day was actually like for you, if you're up to sharing some of that.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay. So let's listen to this mother scratcher, shall we? Oh, one of the other things too, they keep saying that's not even like a tease or anything, right? In this beginning, you heard that? They're like,
where's the facts behind it?
Thank you for always being there.
This is 1.5.
So let's go. It's been a while. We have a lot to say today, and a lot to say another time I'm at the table with John and Grayson.
Right. A lot to say tomorrow, and a lot to say next month, and a lot to say. We have so much to say, it's going to be mind-boggling.
Yeah. This is coming in hot for me, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get through this, I swear, but this is coming in hot for me with a hell of a lot of Trisha Griffith. You guys are going to be amazed when we get to the end of the Beth B of it all. You guys are going to be amazed. I can't wait until we can share everything with you. So it gives this sort of veneer of credibility, or this like, oh, and I don't know if what they're referring to, but man, I can't hear it any other way at this point, knowing who they are and who they've shown their total ass to be. So anyway, and you guys sound off in the chat. If you have a question or whatever, just throw a question mark in front of it.
It creates a unrebuttable accusation. Like that's only like, I'm trying, like when you were talking, I'm trying to process like how you just can't, how do you, it's just like the audience, they're priming their audience for, they do this. They even admitted as much when they claimed that one of their Patreon episodes was about me and my friends and this when in their Cults and Conformity Patreon that my attorney mentioned, they then later referred to that in their Patreon that they thought I would listen to, because they are like, oh, you'll have to upgrade your tier. It's like, I was not a Patreon member, y'all. Like, not at all. Sorry. But so it took me a while, obviously, until someone reviewed that to see that. But it essentially, I feel like this is just, they're priming their audience. That's what they do. They groom their audience. They groom their audience.
So, and Penny brings this up, and you and I spoke about this too, is that the impression was talking about Sam Bateman. And I did bring that up to you before we spoke. I'm like, I can look at it from that perspective too. And I can see that. However, I think where they lost me on that front, Penny, and I appreciate your insights and you being here, is that where they lost me is that when I think about what's going on in sort of this space, or this true crime or whatever zeitgeist, and what happened last week with, Trisha bringing on Crush's uncle, and then bringing up Lauren, and making a big speech about defamation, and then about showing up at court today with Jessica Machado, who was nothing if not litigious and vile. And bigoted. I am finding it very difficult to see, especially because the latter half of this audio, I I believe, is all about their alleged trauma, which I am not. I don't think the trauma's in, they could have trauma, but I don't think it's about this. And they try to position it as such. So in the way they're coming after Bright Breakfast, I'm just like, I'm spitballing, I'm speculating, but I do appreciate that perspective. And I did think about that, and it's possible. It's totally possible. I just feel a little differently about that because I'm, woo-wee, yuck. Doesn't sound great. So we're not going to get into the Sam Bateman because I can't listen to their voices that much. One part I wanted to get to though, is when they start talking about, some of the language that they use about dumb people and dumb this and dumb that sure sounds like, I don't know how this hit you, but it just seems, they're talking about Sam Bateman
in the trial made a lot of us giggle. Maybe that was fun. We were able to mock Sam Bateman outside.
They were able to mock Sam Bateman. Now, granted, this man is a convicted all the things. However, they where do they draw that line is kind of what I thought. It's
well, they start. I mean, it is later, and I could be again when I was listening to it. They do go into unnamed people that they feel are attacking them. So and it wasn't coded with the Sam Bateman. It was
right.
So that's later though. Keep going.
Right. Okay. Well, no, I just think it's interesting, and I can't remember. And this is sort of the default. And I was thinking about this a little bit too today. It's, there's a lot of throwaway words. Like I can call Lauren gross, or I can call her, a jerk, or I can say these things, or a monster, whatever it may be. But
yeah, but you're not a psychologist. So like what's the word? It's like the pathologization.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like that. He is a licensed psychologist, and
which is stunning.
It's just different. That's where it is. It's like that should not happen from that side in that way. Sure. And I don't mean like them versus us. I just mean I hold like, though I do not view him as above me or below me or by any means, I do think that certain licensures come with a certain level of professionalism. Right. And I don't see that with them.
And that's a big one, right? And that's a big one is anybody that claims to be able to help people with their mental and emotional well-being, just like lawyers or MDs or anything like that, you're held to a higher standard. There's a reason that you're licensed. It's because there is by default an actual higher standard. So, and one of the other things I don't know, we're never going to get through this. Hang on, never mind.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Yeah, I'll read the chat for a little bit.
Okay.
Side of trial and laugh about his stupidity.
And give me your timestamp again, where you thought maybe.
I think it was like 31 minutes in, or 27 minutes in. But it's funny that they laugh at his stupidity. Interesting.
Yeah. And that's, that's great.
They dehumanize people though, like in that
way. But
way.
That's the part, right? Yeah. So he's
crazy.
Yes.
Sam Bateman is, I think vile. He's a human, but I just think he's what his actions are vile. Yes. His actions are vile. By no means do I know, gross. But it's just the irony of their analysis. Keep going. I'm gonna.
No, it's an interesting default, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. But it's an interesting default that they go to. Well, this guy's a bad man, so we're going to make fun of him. No, ma'am, you actually report on it. You are conscientious about it. And to me, from my perspective, as a journalist, as a trauma-informed journalist, I'm not going to go out and make fun of somebody's assailant because that does them no good. The people that have suffered, reducing them to something as simple as stupid, and we were mocking him. positioning themselves as how they got through the trial day, because that was their coping mechanism. I'm going to ask you to fuck directly off, because no. So that to me is also, these things may seem like trivial things, and the germs can come in here. And Grayson, I know you're out there, sweetie. Actually, you're probably slung up somewhere in Boston, so whatever. But here's the deal. That's not what's done. And they've done it not only behind their Patreon wall or whatever it is, they do it all the time. And they think it's funny because John says, which I find to be the biggest bunch of bullshit, is that humor is part of their brand. Point to me on this doll where the humor is, sir.
You know,
He's funny. He's super funny. I think he's hilarious. So anyway, here we go.
And for anyone that saw my Sam Bateman jury interview, there was a lot of that with the juror. Like, he was like, this guy's so stupid. He's so dumb. Like, right. He's saying, I didn't use the bathroom, and that's not in my nature. And he brought up telepathy and like telepathic, experiences like the jury was supposed to understand. And so the juror with me just really kind of laughed about his stupidity. And Grace and I spent a lot of time as we prepared trial updates, and I got also laughing about the absolute stupidity that is Sam Bateman. And then I'll let Grayson talk. So she's looking at me like, yeah, you have no idea. So here's my first question though. We have 1,800 pages of court docs. By the way, guys, just because Sam Bateman didn't have a trial doesn't mean that Grace and I haven't got our hands on 1,800 pages of documents where we're going to be doing an entire backstory on the monster that Sam Bateman is, because we believe his victims deserve a voice deserve this. And so we're working on that story.
Okay. But my question now here, this is just me, trauma-informed journalist, right? Do they have permission to do this from the victims? Is my question. Do they have permission? Are they, even if it's redacted stuff? Because the thing is that re-victimization is real. And if they are going to go out and do this idea that the victims needs justice, Lauren and John, maybe just shutting your pie holes about it and letting them get on with their lives. I mean, I don't know. Now, if somebody has consented to do interviews with them, that's whatever. But look, that's a red flag to me, that they're digging into this even further, especially when John is not a clinically trained forensic psychologist by any measure in Nevada or in Utah, which is a separate thing than his licensure. So
yeah, what she says.
That I just am like, sirs, ma'ams, have all the seats.
Sam Bateman and the diabolical, manipulative, horrific monster that he is behind the scenes. Even worse, in my opinion, if you thought the Netflix documentary was horrific, these documents take it 30 times more, and like tears coming out of your eyes reading these documents. So
don't buy it for a minute from her. I'm sorry. I don't. I honestly do not believe that she sits and cries on through court documents. And I'm going to tell you why, and this may make me seem like a ghoul. Reading and dealing with trauma victims and people who have been traumatized sexually, whatever it may be, unfortunately, one gets to a place where these things are pretty rote. And that does not take away from the severity of what one is experiencing and absorbing. But if I sat and read through reams and reams of court documents from sexual assaults, from, various other instances, I wouldn't be able to work. And so sitting here, to me, this is also this sort of virtue signaling, I guess. I was crying. No, okay. I mean, I don't believe you. A part of it is because I don't know. I'm not getting that vibe.
No, I know, because you hear her trying to almost convince herself that's what happened, in my opinion.
Well, and you know her, I don't. So, and you don't even know her that well,
I knew her for a year, and I noped so fast out of there.
I mean,
anyway,
keep playing. Oh, so let me fast forward to your section. So this goes on. So they talk about
here's where I think it shifts.
Yeah. And that's around 30.
I think around 27 to
Okay, 27. Okay. Let me see. Hilariously, side note, I'm reading the transcript and there's something about hiking in here, and I keep flashing back to John claiming to be a spelunker of sorts. Anyway,
canyoneer. Which, can I tell a fun story for your viewers?
Yes.
So when I used, before my brain was fully developed and I formed a sense of fear, I was a little what is it called when you, oh my gosh, why are words not coming to my head? Adrenaline junkie.
Yes.
My husband and I, when we were dating, we went canyoneering together. And I had never actually been canyoneering. I'd been hiking, but I had never been canyoneering. So this was probably I think this was the third time we'd gone canyoneering together. And I am deathly afraid of heights, which is so funny that even before my brain was fully developed, I was afraid of heights. But I mean, I think maybe it was before I had children, maybe, I don't know. I could talk myself into a place where I would still do this. So canyoneering is actually repelling from the top of one thing all the way down. And there was this one time when I was, canyoneering with my husband, and we were going over this arch in Moab. Okay. So it wasn't one of the half circle arches. It was one connected to two sides. And then there was an arch, and we were canyoneering down. We were rappelling down from the middle. And I have pictures for this. I'll have to send them to you so you can share them later.
Okay.
I was going down while I was going down on the rappel, not bouncing off of anything, just straight down. Okay. I decide to open my eyes for half a second and look around. And when I looked around, my ponytail went through the ATC and was stuck in the rope. And I remember I had to stop because my hair was stuck. Part of my hair was stuck. And my husband had gone down first. His cousin was above us. And I said hey, my hair's caught in the ATC. And I tried to pull it. So my husband held what's called a fire belay. And at the bottom, he held the rope so that if I accidentally let go, I wouldn't fall. So I could also try to pull my hair out of the ATC. Anyway, my cousin-in-law ends up having to send down a Swiss Army knife. And I had to use that to cut off my hair, part of my hair. And I went the rest, once I got the hair cut off with this Swiss Army knife, I went the rest of the way down. And my hair being caught in the ATC and me going down, I went down pretty quickly after that. I was like, get me out of these heights, off.
Right.
My hair end up being in this, it was smelled kind of because it was heat friction.
Yeah.
It never burned, but in this ball of hair. And I was like, that's wild. I'm going to show, as weird as that sounds, I'm going to show my parents. But I ended up forgetting where I put it. I never showed my parents on my wedding day. My cousin-in-law gives his speech to our wedding party, and he brought I guess I'd put it in his backpack. He brought the clump of hair to show when he knew he knew that I'd be part of the family because of this ATC moment. So me being in that position of canyoneering, I literally am willing to bet that man has never canyoneered a day in his life.
He was an avid canyoneer, though.
Yeah, I called BS on that. I want receipts to believe that one.
Look, there's a lot. He also got hit by a semi-trailer. We have to, and again, I keep bringing this up because it's we have to, I wish people would be able to be grounded in that every time. People should have to listen to that story, his true life story, every time before they actually listen to them pontificate about anything. Because man, oh man, these people need to start just writing straight fiction. But
yeah,
you're
showing my experience with canyoneering, I cannot imagine that man being my husband. That's my brother-in-law in that, or my cousin-in-law in that situation, just being, and I imagine more women being capable of being in those situations than that man. Most women, actually. But we can keep going.
I mean, look, it's just one of many things that is dubious.
Yes, and that's again my opinion, but
yeah. And Salty, I saw your note, and I'll have to come back to it. We're going to try to get through this, but the first red flag, we'll get to that. So we now skipped ahead just to let everybody know in the super secret Patreon that they were hoping everybody would get a hold of. So we're doing them that due diligence here, where Christina feels like it may be flying a little close to the sun of her actual being taken to court by these.
Or just the situation.
The situation, sure. Which I think is, yeah. Here we go.
Because Machiavellianism is essentially
okay.
Using
Stop it.
Hold on. I hear my kids. 1 second.
Sure.
Let me tell them.
Look,
But
I'm
keep
just
playing.
let
I can
this
hear
play.
them.
Yeah.
And that's what psychopaths do. So there's been some argument that there's something called the dark triad, right? There's been arguments about these different configurations of criminals that allows them to maybe eventually commit murder.
Huh.
The dark triad is narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopaths.
Scary. I might need a break.
Does anybody else get really sick of hearing him talk about Machiavellianism? I mean, this guy's nothing if not a one-note cowboy.
I don't know what else to do. What I mean is I don't know what else to do besides talk about crime. Is if there's just so much going on that if I don't talk about something, then I have to like sit here, and that's hard too. Then you're going to tell me to like breathe and be mindful, and I can't do that either.
You can start covering like little cats and puppies and rainbows and unicorns, sunsets, all that stuff's great, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if those would pique my interest. I think that I just really want to understand human beings so much so, and I think the aspect of human beings.
You give me a high sign.
Still can't wrap my head around it. I probably will never be able to. None of us will, right? That means we're healthy. Are criminals, and so that's why I keep going back to crime. Is like I think I do want to understand human beings, and what I will never be able to understand are criminals like Sam Bateman or a lot of the criminals we cover. Chad Daybell, Lori Ballard. How?
Criminals are outliers.
They're outliers,
and therefore they're important to understand. Number one, because they take advantage of trust. They take advantage of normal people who believe that most of us in our normal.
I'm going to stop right here. Now, I don't know about other psychologists out there in the world, but I do watch a little bit of Dr. Patrice Berry, and she's amazing. And she is actually a trained clinical psychologist and would not use the word normal. I think that shows a lack of credibility and I don't know, intelligence, because I would be stricken if I was seeing somebody for a counseling session and they referred to somebody as normal or abnormal. And that really bugs me. And it's these little bits that he lays out there. And this is not the first, again, it's not the first time he does this kind of shit. And it's certainly not always behind a paywall. But yeah, it's just bizarre to me.
You have to have some measure of trust in order to function.
Yeah.
Criminals abuse that trust. They make it seem like you can trust them, and then they kill you.
Yeah. It's weird.
Oh my God.
Right?
I know. That's what psychopaths do.
Yeah, I want to understand crime and I want to understand people, but I'll be honest. I think like understanding people on a deeper level has made me terrified for the future of humanity. And I have gone from saying I want 3 or 4 kids to now saying I will never have children in this world because I can't control the outcome of what they go through. And that's terrifying to me. Like, and crime has affected that in you. Crime, absolutely. Crime and human beings, and studying like psychopaths essentially, and the human behavior and the thought processes people have. That I'm like sometimes I have to sit there and be like, what would a psychopath think? Because I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I don't think like that. I just move through my day as a normal person. Or what I deem as normal, right? Like, I feel bad for people. Like, I feel bad for even the worst of people in some ways. Like, you want to help people. You care about people. Right. So all through the day, you'll be like, are they okay? Are they okay? And I'll be asking the same thing. How can we help them?
Why do they have to speak for one another? I don't like, there is something here that is so deeply unsettling. And I do, I don't know, man.
Is everybody okay? Right. You overthink. Yeah, I feel like my phone is a constant revolving door of like me checking on people or people calling me or people even check on me. You know, like I think it's just like the people in my life are so good that it's hard. But it's
Christine, I see you scratching your I'm just like,
I had an itch. No, it's just like
you look a little
I mean,
green.
it's like it's like the audacity, man. But yeah, welcome to me listening to something in real time. So
I'm sorry.
No, please don't say
Okay.
that. Hold on, I consented to this.
You're like, we're in a consensual relationship right now on this
I
stream.
consented to this. I am okay being seen, watch. I'm okay.
Yeah.
This is where, I mean, this is where it gets, again, I feel like there's about to be some priming that happens. So
Okay.
just this is where I feel like it starts to get wild.
Okay. And so then I guess I would ask you then, and I will circle back to this, but when you say priming, I would love to hear after we get to that portion, just give me a sign like,
yeah,
this is the part, and maybe you can help me understand what part of this rings true to you and your experience.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I will definitely.
It's so hard for me to wrap my mind around people not in my life. And it has like absolutely destroyed faith in humanity in a lot of ways. I still have some. Like I look at people and I'm like, this world has good. I believe this world is good. I think a lot of people want good for this world. But at the same time, I look at this world as terrifying. You also just said, you're like, you have people in your life and you trust them, you feel, they're great. And then you're like, but then you think that they're all wonderful and they're showing you empathy. And then you realize one of them is feigning empathy the entire time. Yeah, I'll be honest. I know that we've been doing your Patreons. I'm having an announcement to the team. I'm looking over at John and looking at Grayson. I'm having a bit of a faith crisis. And I've realized, I went on Mormon stories to try to like process what my.
Go on.
This is where I feel like the priming is about to happen. And also I took the chat off the screen just so I could focus. So if there are things happening in chat, please let me know. I just want to be able to give.
Let me slow it down. People are saying it was a little fast. So let me just replay that a little bit.
Yeah. But hold on. This is where with the word faith crisis, especially, and I can explain that after we listen to it slow down.
Hang on a second. Also, I have a hard time believing Grayson on a funny note, that her phone is a revolving door, but whatever. You do you, boo. Let's see. People in your life, and trust them.
Like I think it's just like the people in my life are so good that it's hard, but it's so hard for me to wrap my mind around the people not in my life. And it has like absolutely destroyed faith in humanity in a lot of ways. I still have some. Like I look at people and I'm like, this world has good. I believe this world is good. I think a lot of people want good for this world. But at the same time, I look at this world as terrifying. You also just said, you're like, you have people in your life and you trust them, you feel, they're great. And then you're like, but then you think that they're all wonderful and they're showing you empathy. And then you realize one of them is feigning empathy the entire time. We've all Yeah,
So that said, and it's very faint, but that said, somebody is feigning empathy the entire time.
I have theories around this one, and I will send or somehow how I would like to release more of my text message conversations between me and Grayson, specifically the conversations that happened from after I ended my, for lack of a better word, confronted Lauren / ended. I feel like a lot of that. I speculate that my interactions with Grayson after that moment with Lauren is what is being alluded to here. Again, maybe it's about something completely different. Maybe it is about, maybe she's struggling with her mother. I mean, maybe she's struggling with her relationship with another friend of hers who, we can only guess. That is just some thoughts that went through my head after listening to it right now with you.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
some very similar things to me that she said very similar things to me about me in those messages.
Oh.
Which is total BS, but that's why I'm I will share those so you guys can be the judge of that.
Yes, that sounds good. Well, in your own time, my lady. So let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually, I'll be honest. I know that we've been doing your Patreons. I'm announcing this at the table. I'm looking over at John and then looking at Grayson. I'm having a bit of a faith crisis. And I've realized, I went on Mormon stories to try to like process what my religion was. And some people made fun of me in my part 2 where they're like, I was like, I don't know if I believe in a God. I think there's a God. I want there to be a God. I'm like an atheist. I'm a Mormon. I love the LDS faith. And I believe in Jesus Christ. He just love, but Jesus Christ, maybe he wasn't who he thought he was. And maybe he's a personality disorder, but maybe he's the savior. And maybe there isn't a God. You know what I mean? A lot of people joked about my ending. Go watch it because I actually didn't do it justice. Like I did try to eloquently share that I'm open.
You can't have faith with asking those questions. You can't have legitimate faith without asking those questions.
Okay. Thank you, Pilot. I mean, my good, look, you barely have a grasp of psychology outside of Freud's worst impulses. Do not bring faith into this, sir. And that is all I'm going to say about that part of it. And whoa.
So following, like, okay, so this is where where I feel like it's a primer, and I will say my thoughts on this, and then you guys we'll play the rest, and you guys could in the chat make your own judgment. But when she says faith crisis at first, and the way she enters this, it feels like, I mean, she puts religion on the table straight up. She references like her Mormon background and going on to Mormon stories and her uncertainty about God and Jesus. But where she lands is completely different and has nothing to do with theology at all. It has to do with people. So literally she'll prime her audience. I feel like religion is often can be a polarizing topic, can be a place where people's emotions will come up. But she does not land on theology, on religion, on God. She lands on people. And you'll see she goes to kindness, empathy, belief in the human spirit, and uses language like, hold on, it's like her deepest, most core belief or something like that. And that's why she says she's so shaken. So she uses religion as the entry point, but the subject of it all is really her loss of confidence in human goodness. So to some degree, it's a small thing, but in the grand scheme of the pattern of who these people are, I feel like it plays a big role in that. Like she will use big words, let's say emotional language. Really, faith crisis does feel emotional, right?
Yes.
And
yes, it does.
But when you listen to the rest of it, you'll just keep, yeah.
You want to hear my impressions?
Yeah.
I do think that she knows that it's divisive. She knows that it is something that many people may, and if not faith, certainly a crisis of humanity feel. And when I say that, life and death, right? Like what comes hereafter. That's different than what she's suggesting. She's leveraging, to me, her faith. She's leveraging what was her faith, or what her love of a faith, which, and that is exactly, in my experience, what some of the worst, and I bring this up every time, it's in a book that I wrote about the teen treatment industry and the weaponization of Baptist faith for terrible ends. And so these things can be a sword and a shield. And so when I hear her saying that, it's sort of like, this was scripted. This is like, because I feel like I don't think
it was scripted. I don't think
it was scripted. Think so?
I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it was scripted. I think she,
okay. So let me ask you a question.
She subconsciously can do this without realizing she's doing it.
Here's what I mean.
Yeah. Keep going.
Can I qualify it?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Meaning that they knew what they were going to speak about beforehand.
Maybe.
That's what it feels like to me. And so just hearing it from outside, right. because I don't know how you get, I mean, here's the thing. I was raised Catholic. I don't take on the weight of every Catholic who's ever committed a heinous crime. Yeah. She has positioned herself, it seems, to be the authority from the LDS perspective of all the LDS crimes. And so therefore seems to be taking ownership of this egregious bastardization that the Bateman trial made of the faith that many people practice, and is sort of absorbing it unto herself. And
which is wild to me, because like as an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the FLDS religion is so far. Sure, they branched off back in the early 1800s when the church said, we're not practicing, like, no polygamy. Right. That's when it branched off. So in my opinion, in my experience with being an active member, I do not in any way, shape, or form find any sort of, like, they're nothing. Like, that's a separate thing and a separate religion. And it's weird to be to hear someone who claims to be a member of but then again, we all have different experiences. I don't know. For me, this one just feels like it's so not like they use the guise of faith about they're going to use it to make themselves victims essentially in this. And they're going to use it, in my opinion, they use it to make online criticism, to make people who critique them, they do it in a way as their own proof that you're cruel.
Yes,
they think you're cruel, and they're saying in this, in a way, they're putting like commentary, people who offer commentary in I view a double bind, but because they're gonna make it seem like just. Yeah, that's because they're doing it, but they're doing it under the guise of religion. And that's the crazy thing to me is, like, sure, I'm a member of that church, of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
Okay. Right. Like, I mean, I did social media on my Instagram for years, and I never was like, that was not a thing. I did hear her. I did listen in the 9-hour live that night when she looked in the camera and someone asked her, is she Mormon? And she dead ass looked in that camera and said, very, like it was some sort of terrible, awful thing. Forgetting that she's proclaimed that she is for years. But I just think that they use religion and they use spirituality as a shield, like you said, the word shield
or sword.
And it's just like, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And on Sunday, that's where for 2 hours, you'll see me in that church. But am I my religion? No, I am Christina MacArthur. I stand on who I am. And sure, some of my integrity and some of my morals are based in what I believe, are based on the fact I believe in Jesus, on the base I believe in God. But is that me? No, I am a person who cares about people. Sure, I'm an artist, but is that who I am inside? That's a different question. Sure, right. I do believe that me and I am a daughter of God. I do believe that. Does that make me better than anybody? Absolutely not. I am not better than you. I am not better than I just moved the chat over. I see Ski Utah. I'm not better. I see Molly Colleen. No, we are all equals. And if you do not treat others as such, that's on you. And that's not going to be like projected onto me, because I do not view myself above people. I can talk to a police officer the way I talk to a police officer because he's not above me. Right. I can talk to but they're also, let's make it very clear, not below me either by any means. We all come here, and if we do not treat each other with equality on all levels, no matter what our title is, it does not matter what religion you go to. I mean, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't. I'm not more qualified to go to heaven just because I go to a certain religion. Absolutely not. And Jesus walked the earth and said that. And I'm not going to be some preacher because that's not what I came here to do. And if you are not Christian, I do not care. And I do not judge you for that. Like, you do you, boo. I'm just going to try the best I can be to be if it comes to the day where I do have to stand in front of my creator, I can say I did my very best and I took accountability when I messed up, and I paid it forward, and I stood up for what was right, and I didn't get steamrolled, and I treated everyone with the kindness and dignity they deserve. And do I wish that I didn't even feel that way? Sometimes, guys, I wish I hated Lauren and John and Grayson and Trisha. I wish I hated them. I literally had said to a few people, how do I get, it feels like hate would be easier. It feels like it would sometimes. But I just it's just like, we all have our own life experiences, man. And this ticks me off a lot because I do feel like it is so weaponized and it makes religion feel trivial. Now, granted, I do think there are negatives when it comes to organized religion, but it doesn't, like, at the end of the day, like, that's between every individual person and the faith that they have. That's not between me and them. That's not between Lauren and John and what other people believe. It's none of our freaking business. Just be nice to people, man. I mean, at the end of the day, Jesus says his first and greatest commandment is to love thy neighbor as thyself, and do good to them that use you, and spitefully, whatever, guys. But like, and I don't mean to be like preacher here. I'm sorry. It's just like, I hate that religion has become such this thing, and maybe it's defensive of me. I don't know. I just think faith is between who you are and your God above, and then be a good person. Okay.
Right. Well, but I think too that, and I think that, obviously this is something that we all have our things, and we all have what those things are. And you are being able to speak out. And I think that, to me, what I'm hearing is that part of, because I think I've said this before in many other lives, is that there's damage done to people by, in my opinion, Lauren and John and Grayson. And part of that seems like her weaponization of her faith, which she claims not to even practice. Right. So I can see why
that, and it hits a chord with people, because it does. Mormons do come, like, what do we have representing us in the media? I mean, it's Lori Vallow, it's people like Lauren. It's freaking weird. I understand that. I understand it. I don't judge anybody for thinking Mormons are weird. I mean, it's crazy that we've tried to move against the word Mormon, just mostly because people like thought we literally didn't believe in Jesus and we believed in Mormon or Joseph Smith. No, I believe in Jesus, but
you don't have to apologize for anything she did. This is
I know, but that's where it's crazy as to witness it happen. And a lot of people I loved, Salty, and don't mean to call you out again, I loved your episode the other day where you deconstructed the Joe and Megan episode, because I feel, and because I know we don't go to the same church on Sunday. But sometimes, how do I say this? I can validate that religions cause trauma, and I can validate that we all have different experiences in our life. But what I loved was hearing someone who knows really nothing about the core of the religion, again, the religion I attend on Sunday. Or, I mean, I have my faith, of my faith, and can see, I don't even know how to put it into words. I just appreciated it because it made me feel less crazy to some degree.
To hear it deconstructed. Yeah.
Well, just because they are, I mean, I recognize it's crazy because I don't want to minimize the trauma that Joe and Megan might have experienced. I don't. I recognize religion trauma is real. And if going out to
every religion has that history, though.
Like, yeah, do you, booze? No one, but I just feel like these people try to speak for other members of the church to make it seem like so demonized. And I don't know.
Well,
Maybe I'm being defensive. I don't even know where I was going with this other than I hate that Lauren, under the guise of supposed faith
well,
crisis, does this crap.
here's my input. I've also written about Jim Jones, right? It's whatever it is.
Oh,
whatever
I love the Jim Jones so hard.
right? But my point is that this smells a whole, and so meaning it can be anything. To me, yes, he weaponized religion, but he used to be. Did you know? Here's a fun fact for everybody to cleanse the palate a little bit: is that did you know he used to sell monkeys door to door in Indiana? Yes, he used to sell monkeys door to door in Indiana. Yes, but anyway, my point is that the way that I see the way. And I hear John's response as part of this. So when I hear him, who is not professed to be of any faith, who cares? I don't care. But
I don't care either.
To hear that, right. And I think we know that. So I think the call, it seems like he's echoing her from the position of, to have faith. It's like that's sort of the defining characteristic is to have is to have this crisis. And I'm like, sir, so they're trying to meld these two things to me. And that is where the problem is.
Yes. Thank you. Right there. And that drives me nuts because then we have people who minimize this situation almost of like, it's the Mormon mafia, which might exist. I don't know, guys. I've never come across them, but I just want to say like, it's like, no, guys, this might be systemic at this point, but I could tell like my face turns red when I get like, I'm like,
yeah, your nose is
open my office window because I'm a little hot in here, but it drives me nuts because it's not the Mormon aspect. This is just, guys, it's just.
So hang on.
They do it to hit the core. They do it to hit people's emotions.
Yes. And
now listen to the evidence that they present when we hit the next point.
Right. Are you okay?
I'm going to open my office window because this is hot in here.
Okay.
You're
fine. You haven't gotten to let it all hang out. It's
just got a little toasty in here. Maybe my
I get it. Okay, here we go.
Those questions. You can't have legitimate faith without asking those types of questions.
Ouch.
No, he's saying it's a good thing that you're asking those questions.
Oh, right, because faith is things that are unseen.
He's saying you can't have legitimate faith without asking those questions. Yeah. So you're working through those to find faith. That's actually helpful.
Right. Well, let me tell you though, my faith. Thank you. Yeah, they just fist bumped. It was really cute. That's adorable. Sometimes they get things right. I'm like, you guys just talk. I'm like, peace out. Like, this is not my humor. These two share the same humor sometimes, and I do not.
Where's its humor?
Yeah, we don't want to talk to them about that.
The humor is like, I haven't even shared what my faith crisis is. Oh, this is what I figured out. Like, what is it that is my deepest, most core belief? And I finally figured it out because I am in an absolute faith crisis, and that is humanism. I think my entire life, I have believed in kindness and
I'm just going to say this. Does she realize that humanism is actually a system of belief? That there is a thing called the humanist church? Because I don't think she does. I mean, I really don't. You're on mute, sweetie. You're on mute. Hey. Nope, you're still on mute. There you go. Can't hear you. Are you on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. That's why I don't think she's talking theology here. I think because if you listen to the rest, like if we break it down into like evidence, right? Or what's actually being said versus, I mean, like the feeling.
She's leveraging a hot button issue. She's leveraging a hot button issue, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's whatever. Choose your whatever.
I do not think that. Now, I have my degree, which might shock people, in communication studies, which was like media ethics, journalism, broadcast journalism, PR. I went originally to school for animation. Didn't think I was good enough, so I didn't apply. But that's we don't need that backstory right now, but I do have that degree. And so I did deep dive I did study a lot of religion, not just in my own, like I wrote
Sure.
papers about like Joel Osteen, all those type of things. I lived in the South. Like I have lots of feelings. Anyway, I find a lot of the language and words to try to invoke feeling. They're good at it. Lauren and John and Grayson, even Grayson now, are good at this. And that's why I don't think she realizes that humanism, there is an actual theology, because what she's describing is not the theology.
Right.
It is people essentially. So we can.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that she doesn't need, so that's where the weaponization comes in. So they know, it's almost like they know a wee bit about certain things and they just get way out over their skis and weaponize it. And that's what it seems like. But anyway, go ahead.
And kindness and empathy and like the human spirit and being there for another and like world peace and Mother Teresa shit and making the world a better place.
Oh my God. Does anybody?
And I like literally pity the 14-year-old girl that wrote a poem saying, I want to be known for kindness. Because that's my faith crisis right now.
Because you are not a kind person, Lauren. And
I'm just coming in hot to say that.
For it. And you're being called out for it. So if you don't believe in kindness anymore, it's because someone's holding a mirror up to your face.
I was just pausing to get to that point because I'm like, this is very much, these people are nothing if not spotted. You got it. To me, like they project, and I think everybody
projection is an insanity, because I don't believe in any of this crap they're saying. So I know it's not about me.
Right. And so, but the thing is that I don't, I stop. And so it's like this, what are we weaponizing? Her 14-year-old self. We're weaponizing, like, to me, that is what I'm hearing. And why this made it onto a Patreon of an alleged journalist is beyond me. It truly is, because it's
emotion.
ridiculous.
It's emotion, 100%.
Yeah,
because that is real. People do experience faith crisis. They do,
right.
And they want they want people who experience that to feel for them.
Yes,
they're taking away from their experience the people who actually have faith crises. They are it takes away them accusing me of stalking, takes away from people who actually have been through that.
Right. Yes. And it also didn't rise to the level of stalking, but that's a whole other kettle of fish.
And did they have footage of people following them around at CrimeCon? Hell no, because no one did.
Right. That's a whole, that's like part 2 Electric Boogaloo. This is nuts. So let's keep going.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe in like the ultimate core of everything I've believed my entire life, which is like kindness.
I don't buy it.
No.
And I am having this year, 2026 and 2025 has been an absolute faith crisis for me, which has made me realize what my deepest core belief is, and that is in human beings and in people.
Is it because they thought people would cover up for them forever? Is that why? Did they think they could hide behind actual people's empathy and not and want to put it behind them? Now, granted, I've put this behind me. They are behind me. I've moved on. My moving on, because I get lots of comments being like, "Oh, move on." It's like, okay, my moving on. Tell me how this is not moving on. To ignore something that happened to me doesn't mean that I'm not moving on. I'm not going to ignore something that happened. I have moved on. I don't look back. But so her doing this is like such a joke, man. Like, okay, your sense of humanity. Okay, so someone holds a mirror up to your actions and all of a sudden you lose faith in humanity. Okay. Right. What?
Yep. And so, and then that I think is this important part, right? Because now we're moving into the, to me, what I'm seeing here, and I'm reading ahead, is that and I just want to read this out loud because it is very quiet, that she believed her entire life in kindness and humanism. Again, that's a separate thing. Maybe she believed in humans. Get it right. Get it together, journalist. And I'm having this year 2026 and 2025 has been an absolute faith crisis to me, right? And so to me, that says, now she's going to say it's about Sam Bateman in this coming up sentence, but look, I don't think she was up to her. I don't think that they were covering this the way that they were pursuing Christina in a court of law. And I think that that is what she is talking about here. I don't think, and I think Christina, you're nailing it, right? Because it's like, you spot it, you got it. And when you start realizing that, shit gets real. If that brings tears to your eyes, maybe take a hot second, go take a hot shower, have a Merlot if you do that kind of thing. Just touch grass. Get out and stop doing it.
I saw something one time. It like came across probably one of my socials where I think there was this like this guy teaching someone how to not feel hurt, but they were like, "Oh, your blue hair is so ugly. It's so ugly." And the person across from them had like blonde hair, right? And the guy was like, "Did that hurt your feelings?" And the woman was like, "No, because I don't have blue hair." And that is how I almost feel listening to them talk.
Oh my God.
It's
You're
like,
who are they talking about?
It does not impact me. Even the 9-hour life. It's like, okay, that does not. Good try, guys. If you wanted to, like, of course, it had emotional distress and because of the other things and the fallout. But I mean, when something is so blatantly not true, it's like, it's shocking hearing them try.
But it had to impact you at the time.
Yes. No, it has impact. Don't get me wrong. Okay. It has impacted me, but it's not because of that situation. Like, it's not because of like the words or what she was saying, like, "Oh, Christina did this, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, okay, no, I didn't, but good job. Nice try. Right. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just like I think I don't know if we even got to this part, but once she eventually says, like, "I'm not sure I believe in people anymore," it's like, okay, ma'am, like, what? And so then she pivots. She uses this whole point to frame critics as the cause of her spiritual wound. She literally is using it, and she's using it as the cause of her spiritual wound.
Yeah, and the thing is that this is why I think it's important. And this was from this month, so people need to also understand that too. And Jay, and I linked to Jay, and I think I linked to Salty and Penny. This is from literally this month. And so I would like to contrast this with her standing out front of a court. And this is me being the journalist, who's actually a journalist, who is a trauma-informed journalist, standing out front of a court where a woman is accused of murdering her 3 children with a woman who is a vile bigot, Jessica Machado, taking pictures of each other and posting them. I'm sorry. You don't get to lose faith in humanity, in my opinion, or in people, and then go sling up against a woman who has problems with Haitians, with Black people, with Democrats. I mean, just with anybody outside of herself.
Not just have problems, but actually treat people like garbage.
Yes,
like that. She treats people like garbage, and then Lauren Matthias thinks that it is someone to stand next to with pride.
Yes. And that's the thing, is that's the problem. And I hope that when people go through this and when they see this, and you know what, Jessica Machado's neither here nor there. It's the other 2 I'm concerned about, right? Because they have placed themselves in this position of power where they are all-knowing journalists and all-knowing psychologists. And it's weaponization, and it's grody as hell. Grody as hell. And now that I've seen them come together, I'm like, oh, what fresh hell is this? Because that's where I'm like, what are they up to next? The bright breakfast of it all, right? We know they can be litigious, certainly. So I am concerned about people out there in the world being, you know, ultimately this is about silencing people. And Jessica Machado does this. The Trisha Grifty McFarterpants does this. I don't care what people say about me. I don't, because I stand on my word. Have I fucked up in the past? You bet. But I am not a fake ass POS who weaponizes and uses victims, right?
That's also because you can acknowledge your mistakes and take accountability. If you,
Sure.
I've said this from the beginning, and I don't know if I've said it publicly, but it's like, I don't have anything to fear. I have no skeletons in my closet. And if I did, I own every choice I've made.
absolutely.
If I messed up, I will be the first. Guess what? I'll be the first to tell you. I'll go through and tell you all my mistakes I've made in life because I can own them. Yeah,
Yeah.
some things are embarrassing, and I learned the hard way on things, but I own it. And I don't have to do a 9-hour live to hide from the fact of not owning it.
Let me ask you a question here, though, because I want to try to understand. And Salty asked this earlier. And this made me think of something. Just what you're talking about right now is that when you kind of saw the first. I know that you guys were only friends-ish for about a year, and then when I look at that, Salty asked about when your first red flag was, but I'm wondering.
I have a first red flag, but I talked myself out of it. The first red flag was definitely the fact that her in-laws telling me and someone else at the time was with me that her in-laws cut them off. And she was
say that again.
She
cut
claims
them off
that
from
her
what?
in-laws. I don't cut them off from like talking to them, cut them off from engaging with them, spending time together with them. And I remember I was exactly where I was. I had to bring a painting with me on one of the times I went up to Idaho because I was finishing a commission, and she had just finished one of her lives, and another friend was doing their work. I was sitting near the fireplace of her friend Sarah's house, who later wrote a declaration, literally painting. I could tell you exactly what painting I was painting at this moment. It is that vivid in my mind. But she claimed how sad and distressed she was that her in-laws had cut them off because she was so sad for her son to not have cousins to be around and to play with and to grow up with. I didn't find out till after I ended my friendship with her that those cousins are adults. They're not children. They're adults. But just the fact of in-laws cutting her off, I remember thinking, that's strange. But maybe I just don't understand the full picture. I don't know this girl as well. Maybe there's some sort, her podcast channel's growing. Maybe there is some sort of jealousy. I gave her the benefit of the doubt and talked myself out of viewing that as a red flag at the time.
Right. And I think that to me sounds like a red flag in retrospect, because again, you do what critical thinkers do. So if somebody presented that with me, I wouldn't pry. I wouldn't I would wait to hear more. And so, but it seems I think that's a normal thing to do. Like that to me seems
yes,
logical.
But I know better than that. But I still, it's was
it like, a gut? Because here's the thing. Was it a gut thing? Because
everyone would know. I feel like I've had enough experience with people that when things like that, even with dating, when someone you're dating says, "Oh, all my exes are crazy." Okay.
Yes.
Like I know better. I know. It's like, oh, my ex's parents, they were crazy. It's like, yes, oh man, okay. I know better. But you don't view it in a friendship sense,
right?
Like you should. And so I know better. But I also try to unfortunately think the best of people behind their intentions. And why would she lie about stuff like that? So. I mean, I find out later, lots of obviously reasons why she would lie, but I think my pride hates it, but it's okay. I acknowledge that I gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Look, yeah, exactly. And so that's interesting that was kind of your first red flag was that. And the reason I push back a little bit is because I do actually know families who have had bust ups, and
that's why you can give the benefit of the doubt too.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's also like, it's like we just have to it sucks because you just have to take people's word for it, because that, like, what I'm just supposed to be like, oh, that's a red flag in the moment. I should just turn. Man, I don't know. Like it just,
there'd be nothing but red flags. That's not how the world works. Right. So,
no.
the other thing that I wanted to ask you, so that was kind of the first red flag for you. Now, one of the things I'll say is just about when you had that feeling is that my mom, I was younger, much younger, and I was dating a dude who was like 39 years old. And we were about the same age way back then. That's not true. I was younger, but my mom said something that rings true to me when you say this, when you said that, is that she said, what's going on in his life that he's never been married. He's never been engaged. He's never had any kids. And my mom, and I took offense at that. But in retrospect, my mom smelled what that dude was all about. And he remains unmarriable today. He was not a good person. It wasn't just, there were issues. So I think that,
because there are those that don't fall into those types. And you almost want to believe that the person that you're associating with is not falling into that type.
Okay, so tell me in the timeline here of you meeting her to when this first red flag was, when was that, do you think? How long into the relationship?
Less than a month.
Holy buckets. So she was
then less than 2 months, she had lost her best friends.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Like as in they called her, like as in this is publicly known, as in me, Lori, and Lindsay were with Lauren when Stephanie called her to end their friendship. I was in the room with Lauren when I didn't know that was happening. She answered a phone call. We were in the same room together. She just went quiet for a while. And I was like, oh, she's on the phone. I'm going to go hang out with Lori and see what Lori and Lindsay are doing. So
Dental Lori?
Yeah. Yeah. I leave the room and go hang out with them for a while. And then we find out that Stephanie ended her friendship with Lauren. But I was primed from the first time I ever hung out with Lauren to believe that her friends were getting jealous of her podcast growth.
I see. And so this brings me to the Stephanie is the one who and this is the initial person that she tries to, if we go back to the body cam footage in Henderson, right? She's throwing all of these names against the wall. Stephanie was one of them.
Oh yeah.
Is that so?
She thought Stephanie was son. I hadn't even talked to Stephanie by that point.
So, yeah. So I guess that's my point. So this was already in motion in her mind.
Oh,
right?
She was trying to pull. So that's okay. Sorry to interrupt
Potentially.
you. I know what
you're saying. That's okay.
No. So a lot of the friendship that I had with Lauren, she would say not only in personal one-on-one interactions, personal text interactions, and also in group text, she would talk about how terrified she was that her former friends would release text messages, which by the way, they haven't, the ones that she was so worried about.
Interesting.
But hold on. So she said to me that she said to me that some X name, like some name, had the ability to cancel her and John. And like, as a normal person seeing, as a person seeing things and acknowledging, I see things out of my lens, I brush it off. I'm like, girl, why are you worried about that? Like,
right.
No, whatever. I mean, obviously I had no idea things she was saying and doing behind the scenes. And I just was like, okay, whatever, like, whatever. But you don't have a reason. I'm sure you're fine. Like, you don't need to. I believe that she genuinely had former friends jealous of her podcast growth. Obviously, I've learned that is so far from what the case is. Right. And they are so, and I'm not speaking, but I do know that there was no jealousy by any means at all. No jealousy.
But it sounds like.
But she tried to frame them for things first. Yes.
Oh, and the thing is that I'm going to go back to the fact that, that this is your experience, but I think that people, when they view like the body cam footage from Henderson, when they look at the documents, when we look at the court documents, right, we can see how they hodgepodged a group of people together, and then you became that sort of. If I'm reading this right, and I think I'm reading it pretty
we have
correct.
evidence in the body cam where she fully says, "Oh, Colette has more to lose." It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
She's thinking in her mind, who can this policeman target that has more to lose? The fact she even categorized former friends of hers in that way of who had more to lose.
It feels weird. Here's the best take I have is very juvenile. Like, this is some of the most juvenile bullshit, but it's weaponized and it's real life. And that's when I was like, you're not only a terrible journalist, but you're also litigious. Your husband doesn't have credentials that are traceable. They just aren't. Everybody's done the work. And I'm just very, aside from his licensure, who cares? But that's that sort of, to me, and I'm using this metaphorically, that sort of poison mix is that and we also spoke about this a little bit, and I don't want to keep you because I know we're trying to keep it for another girl, but no, but we're going to have to do part 2 Electric Boogaloo. But because there were things I wanted to get through today, but I felt like it was kind of more important to do this, to have this conversation. But I do think that these things, and again, I want to bring it back to the fact that for me, I am not going to take Christina's word for things. I am not going to take X person's word for things. I trust but verify as a journalist, right? That's my job.
Exactly what everyone should do. Don't take my word. Figure it out yourself, because you can.
And it's all out there. And so that's why I dropped subtext stuff earlier, who has put together the entire docket that has the audio, and I've gone through it. So many great creators have gone through it. And the thing is that it really is, after reading it, after seeing it, and I didn't even have to inhabit this sort of space for very long to start seeing the bullshit that they were laying down, and just seeing it when it came out finally, and when we heard, and especially I'm a listener. And so when I was listening to the judge, I'm just like, whoo, man, he had their number. Woodshed. So wait a minute. So I want to ask you, I do want to ask you, and are you okay? First of all,
I'm just hot. My office, for some reason, the air conditioning in my house must have turned off.
You're like boiling.
I need to make my screen bigger because must be so red. I'm just hot. It has nothing. Okay. I am totally good emotionally. I'm
checking in. Just checking in. This is a lot. And
I opened my window, and I think because it's like 100 degrees outside, I didn't do anything. I need to turn a fan on. Then that'll give background ambience.
Well, because I am nothing if not completely professional when it comes to audio.
No, my gosh, it's like I'm just hot.
Okay.
I have nothing. I'm like emotionally good right now.
Right. But
gosh,
I mean,
of course, the one time my office is like 500 degrees.
Well, I want to ask you, so maybe we don't go back to that right this minute. Okay. So maybe we table the rest of this.
I do want to say one more thing too, if you don't mind.
No, but let me just, yes. And, I am going to ask you some questions about being at the hearing, and maybe there's some things that you can illuminate for people. And if you can't, that's fine too. But go ahead.
Okay. So before we end just this part about the Patreon, I feel like,
first of all, is there anything else you want me to play?
No. I mean, no. I think
it's pretty gross.
Play it another time too. But I think one thing I want to make clear, I recognize that there is a lot of emotion. I'm not trying to say that she's performing despair, or that I'm not trying to be, I recognize that the way they feel is real. Again, like I said at the beginning with my little preface, I do recognize that they have deep feelings and emotions around all of this. And obviously I'm not a psychologist, so I can't diagnose or I can't anything.
Right.
I just do not respect that she's using, I mean, and maybe unintentionally using very actual meaningful things the way that she does. That's all I just want to say is I definitely recognize that she has emotions, she has feelings. I don't think that to some degree, I don't know if it's performative. I don't know.
And you
I
don't-
just do not,
Yeah.
I will not accept being the cause of any of that.
Well, and the thing is, I think that again, so I pulled up just in the background, so everybody, and thank you, CH, for pulling this up. That you know,
I'm gonna go grab my fan while you pull this up, by the way, so I don't look so red.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. So I do want to, again, I bring it back to basing my questions, my whatever, on facts. And the facts, I think the factiest that we can get, aside from their own words coming out of their mouths, which are in some cases incredibly abhorrent and factually inaccurate and weird, we do have the legal filings, and people do absolutely need to go and check this out if they are going to make up their minds about what on earth is going on here. Because I agree, you don't have to believe what I believe. Nobody has to believe that. I would be a moron if I suggest that you need to believe the way that I believe about a certain situation, no matter what it is. So, but it does take some time to get through this stuff. And I wish more people would take that time, which is why, which is why this is incredibly frustrating because I come from the world of slow journalism and writing. And so, it's deeply bothersome that she has barely a grasp of some of the situations or court cases that she's going into. But I do admire her own, in her own, sorry, I was just trying to find the page, but anyway, sorry, got lost. Here we go. So this is everything, all the public records, right? And so Subtext has gone through and basically put together a timeline. And this is just what this she's doing yeoman's work out there. Everything, timelines, people can go back through and see for themselves. And they all link to things. These are not made up. These also exist on, it's like when I talking about John the other day, my past lives, I pulled up the actual documents about what he is and is not licensed or approved to do or not do in any given state. These things exist out in the public and they are easily found. It is not bullying. It's not cyberbullying. It's not threatening. That is what it is. And so I just make that very clear. So Subtext has gone through and added all of the body cam, everything that's been made available, right? So this is a really great resource. She also has other dockets for like the Richard Allen case, which again, that'll be part 2 Electric Boogaloo because you were there, and all the things. So I wanted to talk just a bit, Christina, quickly, since I have you, about the hearing, because again, I have you.
Yes, no, just a warning though. My babysitter, is bringing them back. I forgot I had a family party tonight.
Sure.
I have until 3:30 my time. So 12 minutes. If that's
okay, let's go. Let's kick it. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the audio because I love it so much. But I want to get your take on what was going on. And I know you've said it in chat before, but I'm just interested.
I'm telling you, during this part of the court hearing, I was like moving around so much. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like not using my hands, but I'm just like, I didn't know. I mean, I was advised later to just like sit still, but because I was just like, You know?
You were like, I can't believe this is actually something that's going on right now.
Oh, just like when he said the part that everyone quotes, like, I feel like we're using a stalking injunction to curb speech. I just like was like, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, correct. But this part too. So, Mr. Dunkelberger, I love you so much, sir. So let's just hear what Mr. Dunkelberger has to say. Oh, why is it so low? Hang on.
Destin Dio.
This guy.
And James Dunkelberger of the law firm of Bennett Taylor Johnson and Deere for the respondent.
Professional.
Respondent is seated with me.
Can you restate your name again?
James Dunkelberger.
Dunkelberger?
Yes, sir.
So just to be clear, Christina was in the courtroom with Mr. Dunkelberger. Dastin Dio was, what's her name's, Lauren's lawyer. John was not there, and Grayson was there, I think, but didn't come in, if I'm remembering this correctly from previous lives. And you had basically...
I never saw Grayson at all.
Okay. Okay.
My
Maybe that was...
saw Grayson.
Okay.
But at this time too, Lauren was not in the courtroom.
Okay.
So.
Right. Right. Because she was terrified. Right. I mean, look, that it's not me who's making that up, Mr.
No, they say
Dio.
that. They say that.
Yeah.
Also, just for a visual, I had like over 30 people, friends and family there supporting me to the point where they had to sit squished shoulder to shoulder. Otherwise it would ooze into looking like it was behind her section, and there was no one there for her.
Oh my God, that's kind of sad. But yeah. But wow, she wasn't. Here's my take from that. It's not that she couldn't have put people butts in seats, because she could have found people to do that. But she was not expecting you to bring it.
No, I don't think she was. I think that if someone was actually doing something, like that, they might want to hide it from people. I don't know. I just knew that I wasn't doing what I was being accused of. And I know the best way, one of the ways is that a judge can see who you are as a person is the support that comes to show up for you. And I had my support.
I noticed I did have a motion to allow some witnesses to appear remotely.
Let me just skip forward.
Since, forgive me, maybe I misunderstood. You mean counsels?
Yeah.
Counsel party?
Yeah.
Minimal on procedural matters last week.
How come there's been no effort to resolve this?
Amazing, right? And now brings me to the point. So it was like, how is it possible that there has been no effort to resolve this between the lawyers? Now, I think I know the answer to that question, because I've seen the emails from her lawyer that are off the wall. But I want to know if at any time,
emails to the court,
right? Batshit. Yeah. I played those like 3 weeks ago. But I want to ask you, and if you can't answer this for any reason, don't, obviously, and you know better than me, but have they approached you for anything? I don't know what the resolution would have been, but so my experience is that
there was no resolution. It was that I was not a stalker. I was not. How do you?
But hang on. So let me make sure that I'm clearer. So, and I'm not clear all the time, but so my experience is that when you're in a civil court, when you're in civil litigation, that oftentimes some states have mandatory ADR or mandatory mediation. I don't know the case here, but he's saying, how is it that these two parties the lawyers have not communicated to try to resolve this issue? Was there ever a moment where her lawyers came to you on her behalf and said, we want to drop this or was there ever, and I don't know what the hell that deal would be, but I'm interested. And I'm knowing that you wouldn't take it because what you just said, you weren't. Yeah. So
in this moment, when they ask our attorneys to go powwow and make a deal, that is one time. And then in between the 2 court hearings were other times where they were pitching, they asked to make a deal where if I take down all my social media posts and all my channels and agreed not to make another channel, or to talk about her behavior, then she would agree to not go public with this on her YouTube channel.
Wait a second. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Christina. So,
Yeah.
okay.
That was the deal she wanted to make. Had nothing to do with the stalking injunction.
Oh,
Yep.
My God. I am so sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
am so sorry.
No,
But here's
please.
the thing.
I mean, it's not like
No,
I mean,
I'm saying that just for because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I would not be
I did
able
not tell
to
you
know.
that until right now.
No. And you know what? Thank you for sharing that here, because
Yeah.
to me, if that is something, now was that, I'm assuming that was done through lawyers.
Yes.
And okay. So when an instance, go
if
ahead.
needed, obviously I have receipts, so it's not like
You don't have to share any of that. I'm just
no,
trying
and
to
I
get
have
ready.
yeah, but it's like it is what it is though. Like the
Yes.
deal that was presented to me, and my attorney says I'm pretty sure I already know the answer, but would you like to make that deal? And
So
I responded, hell no. So
okay.
I mean, I knew it was only a matter of time before she conjured up something on her YouTube. After she
Wow.
dropped the suit, so I told you this story, I think a little bit, Andy. My daughter had to do a book report on a classic novel or a classic book or story. And I went and I bought her 2 books. I bought her Aesop's Fable and I bought her Alice in Wonderland. And she chose to do Alice in Wonderland. So I was like, oh, I'll read through some of these poetry, some of the fables, Aesop's Fables. And anyway, I picked up the book on the night of October 14th. And is that okay if I read to you what?
Yes, of course.
Was?
Sure.
So this is what hold on.
So let me just, while you're looking for that, I want to remind people what you just said. And if I'm incorrect, please let me know.
Yeah.
But you said that one of the deals that, and so we were listening to audio, the judge asked, why hasn't this been essentially worked out yet between the lawyers, between the parties, because they want you to not have to go through court. So what Christina just shared for the first time is that that her lawyers, Lauren and John, through her lawyers, made the offer that if Christina basically wiped everything that she had made that Christina had made on her TikToks and didn't go make another social media, that
it sounded too like it was my art channel too. I couldn't do anything with that.
Oh, the art channel too.
Well,
Okay.
I did post one story through that one at one point, but keep going.
If I heard you correctly,
yeah.
What was the part about her talking about it on her YouTube?
That she wouldn't go live with this on her YouTube
I
channel.
see. How on earth? Okay, I'm going to just write that down. So basically, she came to your. So this is me speaking. This is not Christina speaking. This is me speaking. And so, at what point in the litigation did that particular one come? Right at the end, or
at this moment, where he makes us go and break out?
I see. So he threatened you. Is what I'm taking. I'm taking this as not a deal.
Because I think because it came through attorneys, it felt less of a threat and
of course, but
like I'll drop this stalking and won't go live on my YouTube channel about it. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
was that ever put in writing, or is that was I trust this, and you know, whatever you have, holy shit, because what that says to me is that the minute she walked back in there, Christina, she knew it was on and she was just planning it. And how long after the judge said, oh my goodness, oh heck, y'all are doing some dirty stuff. How long after that was the
Well,
90-day
he
live?
says that it sounded like, and he was going to wait till the evidentiary hearing to make that final decision. But between
Yes.
the two times, that date was September 22nd. And she dropped it on October 14th and went live on YouTube the night of October 15th.
There we go. So that's it. And so, wow.
So I even decided after she dropped it, I wasn't putting out any social media posts at the time. And so this is where the Aesop's Fable comes in. This is what I read, and this is what I decided where I was going to pause. I was going to organize my thoughts and whatever. I didn't know what plan I would do. I didn't know. Anyway, the fable is number 144, the eagle and the cocks. It says there were two cocks in the same farmyard, and they fought to decide who should be master. When the fight was over, the beaten one went and hid himself into a dark corner, while the victor flew up onto the roof of the stables and crowed lustily. But an eagle espied him from high up in the sky and swooped down and carried him off. Forthwith, the other cock came out of his corner and ruled the roost without a rival. And it says, pride cometh before the fall. So with that said, I am not just the cock in the corner. I'm the mother freaking eagle, and it stops here.
Look, lady, do it, lady. And I am so glad that you came forward with that, because that's another piece of the puzzle for people to understand, right? And people are saying extortion is a crime, not when it happens between lawyers, right? So I do think, though, I am going to research this, and I'm going to talk.
So, and that's another thing too, is I remember when she dropped it, I went to my attorney's office the morning before she went live on YouTube. I had no idea she was going to do that on the 15th, but I said, all these things are lies in these filings. How do we hold them accountable for the lies that they stated in the filings? And he said, unfortunately, things made in filings cannot, like they're protected essentially.
Right.
But you know when they're not protected? When you go on YouTube for 9 hours straight and read every single filing you ever made, it then becomes speech, and it then becomes defamation.
Yeah. And naming you and naming everybody else that wasn't nailed down.
Yep.
So
she did me a favor, and defamation is easy to prove for me, and it will be proven one day. I mean, it's been proven, but it will be proven in the court of law. And I do look forward to that day. I will get the end where the judge says, you are not a stalker. The allegations made against you were not true and were not fair, and will have a judgment. And I look forward to that day more than you even know. It will be, I want this off my record, because right now it's still on my record.
And you've lost work.
I've lost work. Yes. Like I do not like to, I like to think of it as the situation. Lauren and John themselves, sure, play into the situation, but the situation has an impact on me. It has impacted me as more than I'd like to admit. It is my ego, I understand, it's painful for me to admit, because I'm too hyper independent sometimes. And I don't feel like they deserve that power. And they don't have that power. The road doesn't have the power over a car accident. I mean, I did a post about this one time of my thoughts. But I would be doing myself a disservice if I did not admit that it has had an impact on my life.
How could it not, is what I say, honestly, in your family's life. And
on the lives of, and on my family, and on my friends that were named, and on it expands beyond even us. Like the impact it's had on even the people in this chat, seeing an injustice play out and almost not know what to do, because there's literally nothing, like what can they do other than support seeing justice through. It's had an impact more than we have people in Australia interacting in here. I mean, I've loved seeing these Aussies come out, Cheryl and Amanda, and there's another one that starts with C. Don't hate me that it's not coming in my head right now. No, but there is, and it's like, wait, wow, how is it like? I'm just grateful. Like it's impacted more than, and not to mention the victims, and I just, it is a lot. And I'm
Yeah.
not gonna, it sucks to admit. It sucks to admit because I don't.
Of course, nobody likes to admit they've been gotten to, but that also to me is just
Yeah.
like, it's what it is. I mean, they took you to
Yeah.
court, where I come back to. That is not going to not have an effect on somebody. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, we had to pull out of our savings and like it costs $60,000 to defend like ourselves against something that didn't even going to court. Like, I will pay my like the savings to my children and my family. Like, I would like to pay for their college one day, even though I know I don't have to. I would like to. I will pay my family savings back out of, call it pride, call it whatever, but I will, because it's like I have to view it like car accident. I didn't plan for this. I didn't expect it.
Yep.
But I'm gonna freaking pay it. Like, it'll come back. I just, yeah.
And I'm I will catch up with you offline. I know you have kids coming home. And
yes,
all
like
that
we're coming
fun
home
stuff.
in the next couple of minutes. But also, I don't say that price. I just want people to know, please don't feel bad for me. I don't say that. I don't need pity. Please don't feel bad for me. I just say it to bring awareness to, like, when people are like, well, sue her. It's like, with what money exactly? Because, I don't really have any money right now to do that. That's why, again, contingency will be great. I'm going to also, I'll figure it out, because guess what? I figure freaking things out, but I don't want anyone feeling bad for me either.
Right.
No.
But it's part of it, but it's part of the weaponization. And I do think it's important for people to understand. And it's not just Christina, it's other people that do this kind of thing. Right.
Totally.
So that totally vexatious litigants, in my opinion. So
totally. Anyway, I'm going to take off, but thank you for having me on and offering commentary, but also, and thank you, chat. I'll catch up on the chat later. And if you continue, I'm still listening.
Yeah. And maybe we can do it again Wednesday or something.
Totally. Also, because your audience doesn't know, but I'm coming to your neck of the woods. I don't want to say the date just in case, in case I have actually people following me still. But I'm coming to Andy's neck of the woods in a little bit, and we've talked about maybe doing a little something. So
yes, because I'm going to keep on digging, because
I love it.
I don't think you're the only one. Okay, I don't think you're the only one. Okay,
you're awesome. Okay, talk to you later.
Bye. Okay. Whoa! Holy crap, y'all! What just happened? Did anybody have anything? I haven't been looking at chat. I am so sorry. I was not expecting that. Last bit. What do you guys think? I am, I will do. Look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow up, and she has, can show that this is actually took place with her lawyers, and I have no reason to doubt her, because she's not given me one yet. If she ever does, trust and believe, that'll be that. But I'm going to follow up with her to make sure that I have that backup. She's made that statement based on her facts, right? And on the fact of the matter, and on the facts of her lawyers talking. And so I'm going to confirm that, but I am going to go out on a limb and just trust her, because the only person in this equation who has given me cause to not trust them is Lauren and John and Grayson. And so I don't even know where to start or stop. What the hell just happened, y'all? So following that, what do I say? What do I say? Yeah, and it's not extortion. I mean, truly, I hear what you're saying. It feels like extortion, but I think because it was offered as a deal between lawyers, and that is true. Like, things that you put in court filings are allegations only. I mean, they're supposed to be facts. Don't get that wrong. But if this happened between lawyers, and the judge asked them to go out in the hallway. Holy shit. And this happened, she said, so going back through this, so Christina said that this happened, this deal that never could have been truly happened, this offer happened at that point in the audio that we were just playing. So when the judge says, how on earth is it that you haven't sorted this out, lawyers? Why is that? Christina said that they had spoken a couple times between that hearing and the one right before she dismissed it, but the offer was made to her to basically wipe her any mention or wipe her social media, Christina's social media, and that basically that Lauren was going to go live and say everything, tell him everything from that one perspective. And I would love, and I am going to follow this up, because you know what? You know what that does to me? That says to me, Judy Ron, you're next, sir. Judy Ron, not doing your due diligence. This is this puts a whole new shine on it for me. Janice, are you in here? You were there that day, right, Janice? Holy shit. Yes, and fact checks are always good. And like I said, I trust people until the moment they. So Janice, you did know this all when you were watching this. See? Okay, everybody get to clipping. Get to clipping. Because here's the thing. We knew, oh my God, get to clipping, folks. Get to clipping. And all I can say is thank you to Christina for, wow. I was not expecting that. When the judge said that, I was like, I wonder what they talked about. And just knowing civil situations, they typically want you to work things out or try to arbitrate. However, I did not know that. Holy shit. Keep in mind also that Lauren and hang on a second. Trying to close something out. Where did it go? Doesn't matter. Here, holy crap. What do you guys think? So again, I'm sorry I didn't really go through the chat. This has already been pretty long. This is a lot longer than I wanted to go, but holy shit, she buried the lead. So I don't really, I think that we are going to try to do this again Wednesday. Now I'm going to have some time to go and do my due diligence. And I think it might be time for me to reach out to some people that are involved on the other side, because this is really bizarre. I think it's I'm shooketh from a perspective of a lawyer actually saying those words out of their mouth, but knowing the milieu of lawyers that Lauren has grown up around, who are all disbarred or sailing too close to the sun. Wow. This one actually did salty. This one did actually shock me. I didn't think that she would threaten through her lawyer, who I believe is facing some criminal charges or something, or a hearing. Wow. So that part did, offering through your lawyer to not extort someone. And so this is why I think it is critical that people go to subtexts, her docket, because it has a timeline. It was alluded to it. Which part? It was alluded to a while back. That was that, okay, I don't know. I'm not sure. But holy crap. So I don't know, man. This is my second live today. The first one was unhinged. And I make no apologies. This one was in a different way. Hella said what a while back. That this deal, she said it. Okay. Well, we have Lauren saying it, right? Or we have Christina saying it, right? So that's interesting. That bothers me somewhat that she said that. If that was something in confidence, that's not great. That's not great. If that's the case. Okay. Okay. I was like, ooh, okay. Carolina, one of the heroes of the chat, told Duty Ron and Ed Wallace how disgusting and engrossing and listening to Christina's side, and I'm on live defending Lauren Matthias. It's not great. So yes, I knew that there was something that was trying to be worked out because I listened to the audio. I think anybody that's listened to the audio of the hearing, but yeah, I did not know that. So I'm shocked. But anyway, everybody go do something. You want to see Kitty? You want to see Cucumber? Hang on a second. Let me do this first. Do you want to see a little colon below for the soul? I do want to remind people that our friend Kelly Kell is taking the bar tomorrow. Okay. Our gal is taking the bar tomorrow. One of 2 days of bar. Okay. Now we're doing colon blow. If you have the toots, drop them in your chat. Okay. If you got the toots, the special fancy toots, drop them in the chat. Let me just unplug. Hi, sausage butts. Okay, a little colon blow for the soul. Here she is, my mommy's little ray of sunshine. There she is. Look how happy she is. My God, this lady. Hi, lady. Where's your face? Let me take this down. Hang on. Sorry, we're in the bedroom today because that's what we're doing. Hey, Toots, look up here, sweetie. Hey, right here. You want to show me your ghost? Your ghost. Where's your boo, boo, boo? Okay. Wait, hang on. Ah. Okay. And then, how about this? Okay. Oh, there she is. Ah, good girl. Say hi. Say hello. Say colon blow for the soul. All righty. Well, she's had it up to here with me. Anyway, all right. So we'll reconnoiter. And again, I've linked to some creators in the chat. Go check them out. And such as all those things. So I'm going to go lay down for a bit because that was weird. Anyway, you guys, I always say I hate you the least, which I do. So, you know, you guys can Leonard Amber. Oh, coming in at the end, coming in hot. Thank you. Hello. Welcome aboard. Yes. Welcome aboard. I appreciate that. We'll have to figure out something to do. Holy crap. Okay. So I'm going to go do some due diligence and we'll be back on Wednesday. I hope we talked about doing it Wednesday. So I'm going to do some more digging, y'alls. In the meantime, Andy at andycopsa.com. Hashtag never forget in the key of you don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com. Yes. Hit the like, please. Sure. Subscribe. I mean, Leonard Amber just became a member. We're going to have to go do some stuff now, I reckon. But thank you again. It's never expected. Always appreciated. Oh, Mindy. Oh, hello. Okay. All right. Andy at andycopsa.com. Hey. Woo. Okay. Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.